In a world without you, echoes would linger where your voice once danced, and the absence would be a silent scream against the mundane. The symphony of conversations would lose a cherished note, leaving gaps where your laughter once resonated. Your presence, a whispered memory, would haunt the spaces you once filled, reminding us of the beauty found in the uniqueness of each soul. In a world without you, the narrative would rewrite itself, but your imprint on hearts would remain indelible, a testament to the impact of one extraordinary life. In the ancient kingdom of Mali, nestled between the Niger River and the Sahara Desert, General Kumba was a formidable figure. Known for his tactical genius and unyielding discipline, he had led his troops to numerous victories, securing the kingdom's borders and fostering peace and prosperity. However, his reputation within the kingdom was not solely built on his military prowess. General Kumba was also a devoted father, fiercely protective of his only daughter, Amina. General Kumba, a renowned warrior and leader in ancient Mali, had always been fiercely protective of his only daughter, Amina. After her mother's passing, Kumba became even more devoted to Amina, shielding her from every potential harm or danger. Amina was 16, on the cusp of womanhood. Her beauty was renowned throughout the kingdom. Her radiant smile and kind heart captivated many young men. The general's house, a grand structure adorned with symbols of his many victories, became an unintended focal point for admirers hoping to catch a glimpse of Amina or win her favor. General Kumba was acutely aware of the attention his daughter attracted. He had witnessed many young men loitering around his home, their intentions clear, determined to ensure Amina's safety and to teach these young men a lesson in respect. He established a stringent protocol. Any young man who dared to pass through his house without a valid reason would be disciplined or queried, their true intentions laid bare. As Amina grew older, she began to feel suffocated by her father's overprotection. She longed for independence and the freedom to make her own choices, but Kumba's grip only tightened. He forbade her from venturing beyond the palace walls, fearing the outside world's influences and dangers. Amina's frustration with her father's overprotection simmered beneath the surface until the day her friends invited her to a secret party in the ancient city's hidden gardens. The temptation to experience the thrill of independence and connection with her peers proved too great. Despite knowing her father's disapproval, Amina decided to sneak out and attend the gathering. The sun set over the kingdom of Mali, casting long shadows and a cool breeze that whispered through the trees. Amina stood by her window, watching the stars appear one by one. She was restless, her friends' voices echoing in her mind. They had planned a grand celebration at the edge of the village, a party that promised music, dancing, and a night of fun. Despite her father's strict rules, the lure of peer pressure gnawed at her resolve. "Amina, you never come out with us," her friend Nala had said earlier that day. "Just this once, join us. It'll be fun, and your father doesn't need to know." Amina had hesitated, knowing the risk. General Kumba's rules were clear, and his discipline unwavering. Yet the temptation to experience a night of freedom, away from her father's watchful eye, was too strong to resist. As the night deepened, she made up her mind. Slipping into her finest dress, she tiptoed past her father's quarters, her heart pounding in her chest. The house was quiet, and she assumed the general was already asleep. With a silent prayer for luck, she slipped out into the night. The party was everything her friends had promised. Lanterns hung from trees, casting a warm glow over the gathering. Drums beat rhythmically, and laughter filled the air. Amina lost herself in the music, dancing with her friends and savoring the rare sense of freedom. For a moment, she forgot about the consequences, lost in the joy of the night. Hours passed, and the party began to wind down. As she made her way home, reality crashed back down on her. She dreaded facing her father, fearing the look of disappointment she knew she would find in his eyes. When she reached her house, her worst fears were realized. General Kumba stood in the courtyard, his imposing figure illuminated by the moonlight. His face was a mask of stern resolve, his eyes reflecting a deep hurt. "Amina," he said quietly, his voice cutting through the silence like a knife, "where have you been?" Amina's heart sank. She could not lie to him. "Father, I went to the party with my friends. I'm sorry. I should have asked for your permission." The general's expression hardened. "You disobeyed me, Amina. You broke my trust." Amina's eyes filled with tears. "I know, Father, I was wrong. I let my friends pressure me into going. Please forgive me." General Kumba took a deep breath, his stern demeanor never wavering. "Amina, being influenced by others is no excuse for disobedience. As my daughter, you must understand the importance of discipline and respect." She nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I do, Father. I'm so sorry." The general's eyes softened slightly, though his voice remained firm. "I love you, Amina, and my rules are there to protect you. Tonight, you showed a lack of judgment and respect. You must face the consequences of your actions." Amina braced herself, knowing her father's punishments were always just but stern. "What must I do?" General Kumba's voice was low and serious, his eyes piercing as he asked the question that had been weighing on his mind. "Amina, did you not lose your virginity tonight?" Amina's gaze dropped, her cheeks flushing with a mix of shame and anger. She felt violated, not just by the question, but by the events that had transpired. She took a deep breath, her voice steady as she replied, "General, that is a matter between me and the God. It is not for you to inquire about." In a moment of anger and frustration, General Kumba's actions crossed a boundary that could never be uncrossed. In a fit of rage, he asked Amina, his daughter, to unclothe. She obeyed. In the process of checking one thing lead to another, he had canal knowledge of her. That is the beginning of their woes. Kumba, realizing his mistake, was consumed by remorse and grief. He had never intended to harm his beloved daughter, but his actions could not be undone. The damage was done, and the rift between them grew wider than the Niger River. Many days have passed since that day, which Amina wished she never remembered, but nature came calling. Amina wandered through the bustling markets of ancient Mali, her heart heavy with the weight of her father's actions and the secrets she now carried. She needed a trusted friend, a confidant, and her thoughts turned to Nala, a wise and compassionate healer who had always offered a listening ear. Seeking out Nala's humble abode, Amina found solace in the warmth and comfort of her presence. With a deep breath, she revealed the truth. "Nala, I am with child. "The father, it is my own father, General Kumba." Nala's expression softened, her eyes filled with apathy. "Amina, my friend, I am so sorry. You have borne the weight of his mistakes for far too long. We will face this together, and I will help you find a path forward." Amina's tears flowed like the Niger River, finally releasing the burdens she had carried alone for so long. Nala's embrace was a sanctuary, a reminder that she was not alone in her struggles. Together they would navigate the treacherous waters of Amina's pregnancy and the uncertain future that lay ahead. With Nala's guidance, Amina began to weave a new tapestry, one that would honor her own strength and resilience and the life growing within her. Though the road ahead was uncertain, Amina knew she would face it with courage and determination, and the support of her dear friend Nala. Nala's wise eyes gazed deeply into Amina's, her voice laced with a fierce determination. "Amina, my friend, the time has come to break free from the shackles of your father's tyranny. You must confront him publicly and shame him for his unspeakable actions. Only then can you begin to heal and reclaim your life." Amina's heart trembled at the thought, but Nala's words ignited a spark within her. She knew it was time to stand tall and confront the darkness that had haunted her for so long. The day of the public gathering arrived, and Amina's voice rang out clear and strong as she denounced her father's actions before the entire community. The crowd gasped in shock and outrage, their faces reflecting the horror and disgust they felt towards General Kumba. The once feared warrior stood frozen, his eyes wide with shame and remorse. He knew he could not face the consequences of his actions, and as the night wore on, he vanished into the shadows, never to be seen again. The community rallied around Amina, offering support and protection. Nala's guidance and encouragement had empowered her to take control of her life, and she began to forge a new path, one that would lead her to healing, happiness, and a brighter future. As the news of General Kumba's disappearance spread, whispers of his shameful deeds followed, a reminder that the consequences of his actions would haunt him forever, and that the courage of his daughter, Amina, had brought an end to his reign of terror.